Hello, everyone. We are going to talk about Araby. That is a short story wrote by James Joyce in 1914. Okay, the story tells us about a young boy who develops a crush on Manga's sister, a girl who lives across the street. So one evening, she asks to him if he plans to go to the bazaar that is called Araby. He says that he's not sure, but he does. He's gonna bring her something special because in the story he is experienced his first love, and he is like um, dealing with all that. So um, regarding to the first question, there is um, what were your feelings toward the narrator at the end of the story? And second, if you were surprised by the outcome. I have to say that when I was reading the story, I felt that it was like a very linear. Some things maybe don't hasn't any like much sense, but okay, I was like, okay, I can live past this, and everything followed like a consistent line. But dialogues, the child, and the child's feeling were like totally normal since he was experiencing his first crush. And for the ending, when I got to the ending, I came to the ending, I was like, oh my god, that's real, that's the end. It can be like it was like a shot, like a yes, like a you don't expect something like that, end like that. So I start to asking myself if maybe see there was missing a part, or maybe the author was saying us that we have to reflect. So I started to think about maybe some figures of a speech that may help me to understand the end of the story. And it's like that, like I discovered that maybe the author was using an epiphany. So, like epiphany is like a subtle discoverment. So the protagonist's anger and frustration is explained as a sudden revelation of suddenly recognizing himself in a darkest of the of an a closed place, and also in a bazaar that maybe he wasn't very interested, and also without having fulfilled the promise in a state of anguish and fury. The promise that he was doing to her about bring her something. So he was yeah, like what I do now. Amas furthermore was like 10 p.m. So it was like everything was so confused for him, for his feelings, for the everything that was going through his mind. So that's what I think, what I felt.
Yes, yes, totally, totally. It happened the same with me, especially in the part that you said that maybe there are some parts that are not clear enough. The transitions we were talking about that before, the transitions. Um, there are several authors like this happens also, for example, with some Edgar Allan Poe stories, that you need to like go with the story and go with the context more than with the reading, because maybe the transition between the plots, you know, are not clear, or maybe they jump, or it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky. So it happened the same with me, that maybe some transitions um, would have been easier uh, to read the story, and I felt the same. And also at the end, I had like the same feeling. Like it was very how can I say it? I didn't wait, or sorry, I didn't expect um, for that ending, right? Not
Yeah.
because I wasn't understanding, but it was because I like, yes, it was um, too quick, at least for me. So that was what I felt. Yes.
Yes, for example, I didn't understand the purpose of the prize in the story, but okay, go with you. Yeah,
Okay.
that,
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we can move on with the second one, which is the personification and the description that the author did uh, with the neighborhood. So first, I could do three assumptions based on description. The first one was that in that neighborhood, right, there were not wealthy people, but there were people that were not struggling um, economically speaking. So they were like maybe middle class. Um, so that I could that was the assumption that I did. The second was like, of course, we're talking about like a really cold culture. By cold, I mean that is not like our culture, that they are warm, that they used to greet with the neighbors, or they are used to share with neighbors. No, they are very like um, they keep their distance, right? And they like are inside a bubble of individualism. So that's what I felt there, that everybody's in their own world, and to keep the distance from people. And the third one, and the one that I consider the most important, was like a gray environment, like a gray atmosphere. So maybe this of course was because I took into account the context, and I mean I took like the 1940s years here in my mind. So I feel like the people from the neighborhood is like feeling that something is going on, that something is not going correctly, that something is about to happen, right? And that is the feeling that I got with the description. um, like they don't want to talk about it. They know that something is going on, but they don't want to talk about it. Maybe it's because it's something bad. So yes, I felt kind of um, fair, a fair in the environment, a really gray atmosphere. So yeah, that were like the three assumptions that I did based on the description and the personification of the neighborhood.
Well, I I agree with David. Um, I did also feel like a, a dark environment, as you said, and also it was like mystery around the events that were happening. So it was not um, a story commonly read by me because it's not the type of reading I would read, but it was interesting, although it has like this um, yes, like very dark and kind of maybe a strange vibe this story has. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
you don't expect that the story is about love.
Mhm. Yes, yes, totally. It's like love in times of cholera. Let's take like an
Yes.
example. Yes, it's love in times of cholera. Yes. Okay, so I think that we could move on with the next question.
Okay, yes. This story, I think that this story is sort like telling in a dark mode, and it is like saying us the story. will not end in will not have a good end. So I think that that's it. And now for the for Araby, I think that Araby was important for the main character or the narrator, um, because first of all, it is like an opportunity for him to go there, to go to the bazaar and to bring a gift to Mangan's sister, so he can win her heart. Also, it's like a way to escape from his reality. From what I can tell from the story, he's like living a conservative life, and is a really prudent child. And I say that is like a way to escape from reality, because in that time, Araby, that was the poetical name to Arabia, and Arabia symbolized to them like decadence, exotic pleasures, escapism, and luxury sensuality. So I think he was expecting to find something exotic and amazing there in that bazaar, but that was not the reality, because this bazaar to become like a representation for him, for how difficult of the day, how difficult can be the work of an adult, as he's becoming and he's living his childhood, and now he's growing into a teen. So I think that it is a representation of how difficult can be an adult world, in which this boy proved unable to navigate, and all his childish fantasies are like thwarted by the realities of the life in when he lives. Now, Araby represents for him like romance and the journey for adventure and escape. That's what I have to say about Araby. What do you think?
Okay, I agree with you in the most of what you said. So, however, I just disagree one part that you said that maybe the bazaar was an opportunity for him to get to her, because at the beginning of the story, when he started to feel in love, he didn't know who to represent or to describe that, because it's the first time that he's feeling love for another person who is not his family. And even he said, I couldn't gather, and I quote, I couldn't gather my wandering thoughts. I hardly had patience left for the serious matter of life, which, since they separate me from my desire, seem to me like child's play, a silly and boring child's game. So he was treating or trying to like figure it out what to do with their feelings, because he feel embarrassed like to talk with her. But when she did, it was like a weight of emotions, and that's why his fears told why, like, okay, I will bring you something if I go, because yes, that was like an opportunity to get to know her maybe a little more, because in other way they could all talk again. But I guess he didn't did or he didn't do thinking about like date with her. That's the only thing. The rest, I totally agree with you.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
totally. And sorry, Adriana. I'm going to add something very quickly. Yes, and Mayra mentioned something really important, and I would like to connect with what you said, Isa. That is like the complexity of some adult behaviors. Like, I mean, I was on the shoes. I tried to fit on the shoes of the character, and when you're a child and you want to call the attention of a girl, you do like childish actions, or like simple things, or you like, you know, you ridiculize yourself, or you touch her hair, or you hug her, or whatever, because you're a child. That is the way that you can like call her attention. But then you become an adult, and it is not that easy, right? I think that maybe it's because of the social roles, or maybe what is socially accepted, but you need to behave, right? Otherwise you are going to be like a crazy man, or you are going to be judged, right? So I don't know, I felt that with the shark, with the character, like he was like overwhelmed by the ways that he's supposed to use to approach, or to yes, to approach her. And so he became like so upset with his own feelings, right? He's overwhelmed by not only his feelings, but the ways of how he can represent those feelings. So yeah, the complexity. So the world become more complex when you grow up.
Okay, so the next question is the seventh, and it's about the thing. So the thing, or the thing of the story, the central thing is loss of innocence, and that means both in the narrator's belief in religion and his understanding of love. So at the beginning of the story, he mentions a priest. So his religious training led him to place like all his faith and devotion in Mangan's sister. And at the end, all of these like experiences of his search, so he realizes, or realized that everything, or that the trip and all these things, or the events, and his love was were in vain. So somehow in this story, we can see an autobiographical part of the author, because it resembles Joyce's own disillusionment about love and religion. Another thing that my classmates already said about the like adulthood and childhood, I think there's supposed to be like an epiphany between both of them. Like the young boy recognizes, um, he recognized the vanity or falsity of that romantic love, and also, well, all those experiences in his childhood turn into challenges and epiphanies in his adulthood. And that is what I wanted to say.
Okay, yes, I think it gathers like most aspects that we have talked here. yes, it was like a really good, like a wrap up. I would consider it what you said, like a really good wrap up of like our whole opinions and perceptions.
Yes, I was thinking that that is quite the mood, as Mayra says, the mood of the story is kind of dark because it is like the author is trying to express that the disillusionment of those maybe feelings, or yeah, those two symbols, let's say.
Yes, totally. Disappointment was always there, right? Disappointment is like really present in that. Okay, so it was really good. It was a really good conversation.
Okay, we'll see another day.
Bye bye, girls. Thank you.